Ashley has a 2-point bustle. So that means we have 2 spots in this train that we're gonna lift up. Right now, you're gonna notice that we have a pin right here in the train. On the wedding day, that won't be there, but what will be there is a thread that is holding this outer layer to this. So this is just simulating that so I don't have to do it and undo it a million times. So we're gonna pretend that it's wedding day and we're gonna clip that thread. So clip, now they disappear. You can see where it was tacked before. So then what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and pass up this upper layer to Ashley to hold for just a minute. And we're gonna start here. When I lift up the back train, the first thing you see is this ribbon loop. This is not part of the bustle. It is a hang strap for when she's not wearing the dress. So ignore that and keep going. We're gonna come up here and there's a blue ribbon and we're gonna lift up a little higher and there is another blue ribbon. We are going to tie these together. There we go. So the goal for this is to get the base of this ribbon where it is attached to the fabric to get as close to the other base without getting fabric touched in between. So I always push that other stuff out of the way and then I'll bring these as close to possible. You can tie this into a knot, but really a bow is just as efficient because these ribbons are very grippy. So I'm just kind of getting these in here. It's difficult to videotape, but I'm gonna get those in there as close as possible and then just tie a bow. And then to check and make sure I didn't get anything, I'm gonna go ahead and put my hand back. So that there's no extra fabric hanging out between. So this is gonna come down and that'll just kind of fluff and do its thing. Thank you, Ashley. So now we have a little bit different of a way to do this outer bustle, but we're gonna find things similarly. So when we lift up this layer and look straight down that seam, first thing we come to is this little ribbon with a button. This one is our bustle loop. This button stops this ribbon from pulling out the other direction. So that is very important. Another thing I'm going to show you while we're in here is back there, there's a little ribbon with another button. This one's also going to get pulled out and that button is a stabilizer. So we're going to start here. And if I hold on to this little button and then come to the outside, I'm going to feel where this is coming through. It's hard to see because it matches everything else, but there's a little tiny ribbon coming here across that seam horizontally. So if I lift that out, it's now a little loop. Now if we go up this seam, kind of about just over halfway between the end of the zipper and here, we're gonna come to these little knots right here. So it's kind of just above her knees. And those little knots, if we pull out, it pulls that string that was hanging in. So now this is nice and secure. That button is right there. We're gonna go ahead and just tie up this loop. So I'm gonna go ahead and take that, one of those strings and put it through. And then we're gonna bring this all the way up as high as that can go. We don't want this to droop down just because now it's 4 inches longer than we wanted it. So bringing that all the way up as high as that can go. I don't like to fight with dress, so I'm gonna stick my knee under there to hold the weight of that up. And then it's way easier just to go ahead and tie up. And again, this is very strong and a bow is gonna be just fine because those ribbons are very grippy. So tie it up in a bow, then you can bring it back down if you ever need to. Last thing that we're gonna do, we're always fluff that train out so that the center comes forward. And then I'm gonna go ahead and hide these ribbons by twisting them up very tightly here at the top. And then I'm gonna use my thumb and push those ribbons through that loop and then pull them backwards so that they hang behind instead of out in front. As she's dancing, walking, socializing, this will do whatever it wants. If you're ever gonna get that picture that's gonna display it, make sure you fluff that out just like when it's down. We really want it to display beautifully and evenly. And that is her 2-point bustle.